Yeah, bro, I think you lock in that Purdue to Arthur's trade because you never know. Next week could be full of injuries and stop you from being able to do that trade. How's it going? Wooden Spoon Supercoach here. What a fucking shitstorm of a week we've just had. Injuries all over the board, a bunch Supercoach relevant, which I've got here. These aren't all the injuries, believe me, there was more. Meany with a broken jaw, Hughes with a broken hand, RTS and Jarrell Skelton with hamstrings, Watson with a HIA who'll miss next week, Turbo who if you're still holding on to, you definitely continue to hold on to with if you've got these guys, and then Cleary with his HIA, the most bizarre HIA I've ever fucking seen. I was in a Supercoach group chat with some people frantically trying to figure out if he'd landed on the shoulder he just had surgery on. Turns out no, so probably not an extended rest for him. I expect him to be back against North Queensland. And you probably saw in the thumbnail, I'm saying hold Cleary. Definitely hold Cleary, especially if you've got these guys to prioritise beforehand. Do you really want Cleary to come back against the Cowboys, Dolphins, Roosters, and then the Cowboys again a few games later and not own him? That would be terrifying. So you can see I've ordered these guys in terms of sell. I don't think Turbo is a sell over Cleary. Really, if you've got both of them, hold both. Anyone who has a green tick next to their name next week, you cannot sell. Granted, Cleary doesn't, but there could be 3 tons here in a row. So you're welcome to sell him, but I don't want to know what it feels like to go into these 3 games without him. So halfback replacements. I think it's time to seriously start considering Reynolds. He's kind of like a Turbo where he's getting tons all the fucking time, but you never know. He could get tackled one week and not get up. Looking at this draw, Dolphins, Wests, Sydney, New Zealand, Bulldogs he can score points against, Penrith, who knows at this stage. It's a good draw. He is a bit expensive, so these prices I've tried to consider their break even and their score and guess what they'll rise to or drop to next week. So this is a rough estimate on the prices, but I think it's pretty close. Humphreys, who I think I might look at getting in for Sandon. I know I only just traded Sandon back in, but I just want that cash rise, and then I want him out. He's too inconsistent. I don't want to deal with that shit. And Humphreys with this draw, yes, he's got Penrith this week, but it's Penrith without Cleary. How much of a difference that makes, I don't know. And then he's got a few good matchups coming up after that. Latrell does come back round 5 if he is on time. So Humphreys will lose the goal kicking points there, but there could just be a lot more attacking stats in his game with Latrell in the side. So I really like the idea of getting him in. And I've got Hines as well, but I've pushed Hines down into my flex to allow this because I won't be selling Cleary. Trindle, 600k is not an amount I would like to pay for him, but he is scoring pretty well. I still like Hines better. He is more expensive though, so if you want a piece of the Sharks and you can only afford Trindle, I don't hate it because they do have some decent games coming up. But if you can, just get Hines in. If you are looking at Trindle, I reckon you just go Reynolds. So I think if your budget is mid, go Reynolds. If your budget is low, go Humphreys. And if it's high, go Hines. Not for Cleary though. I urge you not to sell Cleary because even if you think you're going to bring him back in, that's 2 trades that could be 0 trades. So I think keep him. Center wing replacements. He's going to jump up a lot. He's been scoring really well. Is he worth 450k? He's going to have some low scores in him over the season, but looking at his draw in the next 5 games, I don't know if it'll be then. I think he could get up to 600k. The thing is, Toya, who I think is going to get up to 300k, I think he could also get up to 500, 600k, and he'd be making a lot more than Arthur's if you're trading them in at this point. Same goes for Tamale. He's got job security. Now we get down to the guys shaded green. These are guys who've had a buy or missed a game, so they change price. We can bring them in next week for their first price change. Tui Pilotu, that's wrong. He's below 600k, but he could be a straight flip from Skelton if you're wanting to get rid of him. He's got a low break even. He'll make money. He's in a okay Dragons side that have some decent matches coming up. He could score very well for you and get a lot of points. Sorry, he could score very well for you and generate you some money. So that's the best of both worlds there. Same story with Xavier Savage, except he's cheaper. I'm going to be really looking at this, but I don't have any fires to put out in center wing, so I probably shouldn't be trading down there. Yeah, Savage coming back against the Cowboys. Sharks is tough, but then they've got 3 good ones back to back to back. He's got a negative 24 break even, I believe. I really like that. Samrani, he's bottom dollar, so if you're desperate, you can go for him, but he's playing for the Eels. Job security, we don't know. He could come as soon as he could go as soon as he made it in. And are the Eels going to be scoring points? Probably not. Howarth, who is not 246k, he's 446k. Or is he 426? Around that. He's a solid option. I would probably go a Savage over him, to be honest, just because of the break even. Howarth's still going to make money, just not as much as Savage. Howarth is also a better scoring option long term, I think, being in this dominant Storm side, who is clear first now over Penrith. Nwakanitawasi, I think if you've got him, you keep him, but you don't bring him in at 500k. It's a little bit awkward. The Roosters are a little bit awkward. I think we want to wait and see on them. And Montoya, I think he is jumping to a price that we don't really want, especially with a buy coming up soon. So that's the centre wings. By the way, if there's more players I need to address after the games today, it's lunchtime on Sunday, so I haven't watched the other 2 games yet. I just want to do this so I can actually get this video out tonight because there's a lot to cover. Fullback replacements. This is where it gets interesting. Gutho. A dude commented on my video a week back. People are sleeping on Gutho. I 100% agree. I forgot to put his price in. Let me quickly fix that. Gutho's 675k. His price doesn't change until after his game next week. He's an option. And he's not that much more than Pappenhausen. I got Pappenhausen in last week. I still like that trade because he's in a better team. But Gutho, he's got a very low break even. He's going to make some money. He's got Melbourne next week, which is tough. But then after that, he's got a bunch of good games. I don't hate it. If you want to go different, go Gutho. Iongi, I don't think you trade him in. He's only set to make, I think it's under 50k. His draw does ease up a little bit, so he could score a bit better, but we want that initial price rise out of him, especially if he's taking up your flex. He's taking up a potential next gun upgrade for you. So if you've got him, sure, hold him maybe up until the buy. That would be the efficient time to sell him. He could top out before then, so keep an eye on it. But yeah, Pappenhausen, 616k. He's in my team. Still very low owned. I think he'll go up a lot this week, even more next week. Realistically, you're in a good position if you're doing trades at fullback this week. There wasn't any injuries, but maybe if you've got one in flex, you can sell someone else to get one of these guys in. Ponga, he's got the bye next week, so I think hold off on him. Latrell comes back round 5, so he's in the same boat as Ponga. If you're looking at getting in Ponga and you're one of the few people that doesn't have him, you could go different. It is a lot of money, but Latrell's in the same boat coming back round 5 and has a couple of good matchups. So there's a world where you could go early if you're super confident and you got no fires to put out, but that is a very, very unique situation. I don't think it's a good option for many people. Walsh, I still think he can drop more cash, and trading him in would definitely be luxury with all these injuries and shit. Now the forwards, we're lucky here because there's heaps of replacements and heaps that don't change price yet. Horsburgh, if you don't have him, I still think he's a must-have at 420k, which is what I think he'll rise to. I think he can get up to 600k. Taylor May, probably getting a little expensive. If you've got this kind of budget to bring someone in, I'd probably look at a Tino who hasn't risen yet, a Haas who is just incredible. Tino, I'll be looking to get him in. I'm going to have to sell someone pretty good to get him in, so at this rate, 3 more guns are going to get injured on the Sunday games, so we'll see what happens. Haas I've got in, couldn't be happier. He's still a must-have. He's still worth paying 720 to get him in, if that's what he rises to. Look at that draw. And he could have scored 2 tries this weekend. It was fucking crazy. Hubner, genuine cheapie that you can get in. He got a suspension, so he hasn't risen yet. Penrith's tough, but he's a forward. It doesn't really matter. So I might be looking at him, Voimunga to him next week or this week. We'll see how it pans out. Nafahu White, with that try last week, that's going to sit in his rolling average for a while. He's going to generate a lot of money. So if you want to bring him in, if that's the price point you need, sure. I imagine a lot of you already have him in. Nicholson, another very good option who is kind of on the expensive side of cheapy, low mid range, but he scored a ton last week. So it is the first score to drop out of his rolling average, but it kickstarts his cash gen nicely. And they've got a pretty soft draw as well. Kepi, you don't want to pay $400 for 400k for Kepi. I'd pay $400 for him, but probably not much more than that. I just put him there because he's got a low break even. People are going to consider him. I don't rate it. If you've got 400k worth of player to bring in, go a Nicholson, 100%, a Hubner, a Horsburgh, a Gula, yeah, or a Hamish Stewart if you need someone cheap. But even then, I'd probably just go Hubner instead. Steep. Job security is a little bit of a concern with this guy, but he's playing really well. He might earn more minutes or earn the current role he's got, which he seems to be doing well in. And Gula, who I've been very happy with, he's on the bye this week, so he's got a break even around 0 and is scoring some consistent 50s, so I really like him. I think he'll make me some easy money. And hooker replacements. Oh, if you had Watson up at hooker and you're forced into a trade up there, wasting trades at hooker feels worse than wasting them at front row, I reckon, so I feel bad for you. Luckily, there's a great option. Starling. He is the number one option to get in. I don't even need to trade at hooker, and I think I'm going to do it this week. Either Paddy or Pakes, depending on how much money I need. They've got a good draw coming up. Starling's looking really consistent. He gets attacking stats. He's looking better than Harry Grant. He's the standout hooker so far of the year in an inform Canberra side that have a decent draw coming up. I love it. Say, for example, you've already got him and you need someone else. I probably wouldn't trade in Sandon. If you've got the money, I'd go Marmazelis. He's probably set to make the most money. Latrell's coming back soon, so he could get some attacking stats, which he's managed to do even without him in the team. So 400k I think is worth it for him. If you can't afford that, I'd probably go Pakes. He's more likely to get attacking stats than Sandon Smith, I think. And if you want to go weird, go Egan, but he's got a bye coming up as well, so I can't recommend that. Hopefully I don't have to revise this too much after the Sunday games. Hopefully that's it. But my one takeaway this week is to hold Cleary. That 2 hurts. It's going to make him drop a lot of cash, but it doesn't matter if he drops cash if you're planning on keeping him. I'm planning on keeping him, holding him through Origin. There are questions being asked of whether Penrith are that team this year, but Cleary is still that guy. He's still going to come up against some lesser teams and score just ridiculous scores on them, so keep him. Keep him. There are other priorities. There's so many injuries. And if you don't have other priorities, then save trades and benefit from it that way. All right, I'm going to go watch the games. Hopefully, I come back with a smile on my face. You'll see in a second. It's a good day. Manly just wiped the floor with the Raiders. I was forced to not score Horsburgh to get the captaincy on Payne Haas, but that was worth it. He got a sin bin. It went great. The only thing I could have asked for more was a try from bloody Lehigh. Anyway, for the Sunday games, not too much to add with the Eels Bulldogs. Lomax scoring to just above his value. Dylan Brown doing okay. Hopgood doing okay. Iongi doing okay. Nothing exciting here. Then in the Manly game, obviously, we've just seen Ruben Carrick, fucking massive. 164 tries. God, I love him. Olakwatu doing well. Hopewadi could have done better, and I didn't play Paddy or Horsburgh. Horsburgh still did okay considering he got binned. So yeah, no more injury carnage other than Paseka doing his not ACL, his Achilles, which is brutal. He's gone for the season. That's really unfortunate. Takiaho is now really important for us. But yeah, I believe this win puts Manly up to 3rd fucking place. Let's go where we belong. Moving over to the group league. No luck. No hits this week, unfortunately. So maybe I'll give you a bit more of a budget next week and we'll try and get that rising a little bit more. Sweet. Tomorrow I'm going to go over all the trade options and probably do a video around that. So stay tuned for that. If you want to leave any bets on this video for next week, go for it. You can leave comments on any video I upload this week for anything you want me to punt on for the prize pool. Sweet. Hope you guys didn't get too fucked by the injuries this week. It was brutal, but it's Supercoach. The Supercoach gods just choose to fucking hate us sometimes. Anyway, that's it. Uru.